Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70mm. Finally, a podcast about movies. Each week, I'm joined by famous artist Danny Haas.
Can we wake up?
And writer-poet Protolexis.
It doesn't make any sense. What were they thinking making Star Trek?
And together, as friends and film lovers forever, we discuss recently watched movies. Later in this episode, we're discussing Roger Corman's sci-fi horror film X, The Man with the X-Ray Eyes. Was this the right movie to kick off October? Let's find out together. Enjoy! I have some news.
Oh, no.
Breaking news. I was able to finally sit down with my wife to watch Possession Blu-ray. As you might recall, a couple weeks ago, I bought one of 3 Blu-rays remaining for this horror, thriller, drama, psychosexual Blu-ray that a lot of people were talking about. Hard to track down. So we finally made time to sit down and watch it. I'm just going to cut to the chase.
Cut to it. 5
banger right off the bat. Anna recommended that I purchase it in Discord one day, and I finally bit the bullet. $40. I didn't know what to expect. Everyone's like, "You're not ready. You're not ready for this. Get ready." Gifts, and they undersold it. You're not ready, really, for it.
Oh, wow.
I loved it. It's very strange, very weird. It's gorgeous to look at. Loved it. Much recommend. It's not for everybody, I'll say that much. But I think we discussed that this Blu-ray is going to be traveling of the Sisterhood Yaya pants. So we're going to be shipping this out to the next viewer. I'm not sure if Danny is excited to be the next one, so maybe it'll be Proto who gets it next. I'm not sure. We'll have to divvy it up to see who gets it.
Spoilers, it's me.
And from there, after Danny, I think we should probably send it around the Discord as well. And
I think so.
And maybe write little love letters for each other.
The villagers.
Mm-hmm. So I'm excited.
A time capsule.
Sam Neill, this isn't really a spoiler per se, but I'm excited to announce that Sam Neill's ass is joining the man ass list on Letterboxd officially from this movie.
We've needed his ass for a long time now.
He's so thin in this movie. He hasn't an ounce of body fat. He's virile.
Skeletron.
So that's my big news. I'm excited for you guys to watch it. But the feature presentation this week, Roger Corman, Proto's pick for Horror Month, X, The Man with the X-Ray Eyes, streaming on Prime Video. Proto, how you feeling to get into this movie at the bottom of the hour?
I mean, I think I hit this one out of the park. If you're going to start Hope-tober with any movie, this is the one. Right?
Why didn't we call this Prot-tober?
There it is.
That could have been big promotional aspect for this month.
Put that in at the beginning.
Prot-tober kicking off this month. Roger Corman, that name might ring a bell in some nerdy ears. Growing up a comic book fan, I knew that name because he directed the unreleased Fantastic Four movie from 1994. I'm not sure if anyone remembers that. It was like only viewable at Comic-Cons. You had to get a bootleg of it. It was low budget, and the rumors at the time were that the people who paid to have this movie made never actually were planning to release it. They just wanted to retain the rights to the movies. And so that's actually in dispute. No one knows if that's really true, but I was actually watching it before we were recording tonight. I'm like halfway through on YouTube watching it again.
Mm-hmm.
Are you suggesting it?
I was just throwing it out there. I was thinking about it. I haven't said anything. Pardo, what did you watch this week? Anything good?
I watched a bunch of stuff. Maybe I'll talk about 2 of them. One controversial and one redeeming myself. The controversial one is I started down for my own personal Hooptober, wanted to watch the Romero Dead movies. So Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead. I started off with Night of the Living Dead. Had a great time. It's a great movie. It's a classic. It really epitomizes, everything you want of October. It's fantastic. Love it. Then I watched Dawn of the Dead for the first time. I had seen the Zack Snyder remake when that came out, I guess like 10 years ago.
Legendary director.
Legendary. So this was my first viewing of the original, and I wasn't so hot on it. And I think I can just write that up to being, horror movies, blood and gore, just, that kind of vibe. That's not my thing. So it didn't really have a lot going for it with me watching it. And then I just had like a lot of problems with the storytelling, and I was kind of bored to begin with. I can see why it's a classic. These kind of movies, it's hard to judge them fairly without like having seen them when they arrived, because there's so much that's come after that they've influenced. I gave it 2 stars.
Wow.
Yeah. That did happen.
The amount of podcasts that were kicked off just because of the love of that movie. The shopping mall. Zombies in the shopping mall.
Yeah.
On the roof with a helicopter.
It's a metaphor for us and our consumerism.
You mean that wasn't, inspiring to you to make that realization as you were watching that movie? Get out of here. I was
inspired, but I wasn't inspired to write my 2-star review. That's what
Chuck is in chat right now. He's sweating.
Then after that, I started my Alien journey. So for those who don't know, we decided to begin a journey of everyone watching the Alien series, starting with what truly is a classic from 1979, the Ridley Scott masterpiece, Alien. I gave this movie 3 stars. I think when you create a Letterboxd account, you're young. You're young. Yeah. You don't know what you're doing.
You're excited.
You're thinking, I'm just going to start rating stuff. Somehow I rated this 3 stars. I think I just had, something was wrong with me. But I watched this again. Boy, oh boy. If the Nostromo isn't the greatest thing in all of science fiction, you're lying to yourself.
All right. Calm down.
You're lying to yourself.
Danny, stop lying to yourself.
5 stars.
Shut that Enterprise right down the turlet. All right. Same year. Get into this, Proto. This came out the same
Get in there,
year
Proto.
as Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
This is proof that we are crossing between different realities, because there is no way that Star Trek: The Motion Picture and Alien come out in the same year. This is false. It's impossible. There's somehow, I'm hoping that we're in the Alien universe, and somehow Star Trek penetrated our reality and entered this one, because it doesn't make any sense. What were they thinking making Star Trek?
No. It doesn't even compare. I don't know if you, I think we were saying this maybe on Apex one night, but if you're the executives of Star Trek and you're watching the early cut of Alien, you're packing your desk up. You're done. Mm-hmm. It's over for you. Your career's finished. They look like they were produced 30 years apart. Alien looks like it could have been made today, outside of the man in suit scene at the end with the alien. Spoilers. That looks goofy still.
Spoilers.
I rewatched it. I rewatched it half and half. I finished it tonight. It looks amazing. Whatever transfer is on HBO Max right now, gorge.
It's too good.
BLB ratings, they're dangerous. You fire up Letterboxd for the first time, you start giving ratings that are not accurate in your present day. You're just going based on memory.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll admit that I was wrong there. We all make mistakes. We're all ready to grow and forgive one another. Forgive me as I have forgiven you, Chuck, for making me watch All or Nothing.
We need to give Danny the floor. He had to sit through that Star Trek: The Motion Picture diatribe from both of us. saying that the Nostromo makes the Enterprise look like the drizzling shits, essentially, is what Proto had said. Danny, what did you watch this week?
I have to admit, I haven't watched but one movie. It was a busy week for me, but I did get one in with one of my daughters, and we watched Enola Holmes. And I know that there was some chat in Discord about middle-aged men reviewing this movie.
Right, from Ian, from a producer.
But I watched it with my daughter, which is what I was supposed to do, correct? And she liked it, and I actually enjoyed it. I think it's really good. It's a lot of fun. It's a good movie for kids to enjoy. Millie Bobby Brown is fantastic, and I like her a lot. Henry Cavill as Sherlock is rude because he's amazing looking, and those suits he wears are unreal.
Really?
And I think I read that they're doing spinoffs now with him as Sherlock, which is fine. I think they should make more with Millie because it's fun for girls to have movies like that because she's pretty kick-ass in it. She's, throwing punches and solving crime or whatever, puzzles and stuff like that. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
Right.
It's probably 30 minutes too long, but that's the almost 40-year-old Mel in me saying, cut it. And that's all I've watched. I haven't. It was a busy week for me.
The comment Ian in chat was making that he was kind of getting his gears grinded that some film critics were viewing it from a lens of like middle-aged white man not enjoying Enola Holmes, whereas it's not really for you dopes.
Right. Which he's not wrong.
Right.
He's not wrong.
I don't think he's wrong at all.
But I think it's kind of fun to have different perspectives either way.
More white men is what you're saying.
Yeah, we need more. Their voices need to be heard. No, it's just like, if someone's, in the same way that, for instance, like The Dawn of the Dead, that's not a movie for me to watch either. I mean, this is because it's not my thing. Like, I'm not going to like that kind of movie regardless. Like that's not my vibe. So it's a different demographic we're talking about, but I think the same thing applies. It's still fun. It's still interesting to hear someone's perspective on something.
Okay.
But I think I know what Ian's saying about like people in earnest reviewing those, and not saying like, this is actually made for, a younger crowd.
Mel in Discord says there needs to be more teen podcasters. IMO.
Like a turn back time.
They're too busy on TikTok. They don't even TikTok probably views podcasting like radio. It's old school for olds. We mentioned Letterboxd and the man-ass list, but every week we give away a year of Letterboxd Pro to one lucky friend of the show. If you share the show on social media, join us on our trivia polls on IG, you're automatically entered to win a free year of Letterboxd Pro. And this week's winner is Luca. Hits Luca on Twitter. Congratulations, 1 year of Letterboxd Pro.
Congrats.
This week's IG question of the week was, what's your fave scary / horror movie? This is Protober. We're going to be getting into some of those responses later in the show. I think the most popular vote so far was The Thing.
Oh, God. Bless. Golly. Why is that not on our list?
Forrest in chat says Marriage Story.
Maybe.
Word. God. I'm never watching
I like
that.
That.
Terrifying.
Never
it's
watching
terrifying.
That. Them, The Thing, Suspiria, 1977. Just a few
haven't seen it.
Votes. I wonder if that's on. That might be on HBO Max now that I think about it. HBO?
The new or the olds?
The
and there
old
two?
one, I think.
The remake?
The new one, I think, is on Prime. Let's see. What do we want to get into? It's almost time to get into X, the man with the X-ray eyes, Roger Corman. Is there any other movies I want to talk about?
Can talk about my movie next week.
We don't need to hear any more about what I watched this week.
We can, though.
Check my Letterboxd /Slim on Letterboxd for the activity. Danny, it's time for you to announce your pick for Protober, Halloween Horror Month 2020, next week. It's time.
So for my Protober, I had to go back to my first rated R movie, my first horror movie, My first movie where my friend's mom had to sneak us in to see. I was maybe 14 years old, 1996. And we're going to watch Wes Craven's Scream.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for this. I don't think I've seen this movie since 1996 in the theater. The master of horror himself, Wes Craven.
I'm very excited. Very, very excited.
Big shit.
Also the director of some other famous horror movies like Scream 2, Scream 4, New Nightmare.
Keep going.
Ever heard of them?
King.
The People Under the Stairs.
The cast in this movie alone. Henry Winkler. Linda Blair.
Linda Blair?
Drew Barrymore.
Oh my God.
Matthew Lillard.
No one's safe.
Nightmare on Elm Street is probably the most popular one outside of Scream. I'm excited for this.
King Craven.
King. K-Y-N-G.
I am excited. It's going to be a good one.
Real quick, before we get into, this is what we're all here for, X, the man with the X-ray eyes, streaming on Prime Video. If you want to pause this and watch it yourself, the big one. I was watching, Amanda and I usually watch a ton of horror movies during the week. And this week we got back into Friday the 13th series. We're back in it. We watched, I'm trying to get my diary up here. My Letterboxd diary. Not my personal diary. Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. And really Obama, meddling Obama, proud of this review. Main thing that jumped out at me, there's a lot of people puping in this movie, in porta-johns, in bathrooms before making whoopee with each other. Nobody wipes their rear end. They're 100% not using a bidet, even though you should still do that after using a bidet. But it's disgusting to me. They're running with dirty A's.
Are you telling me you want to see them wipe?
I mean, just don't put them on the toilet if you're not going to show them what they need to do after going number 2.
You want to see the full...
We want proof of wipe.
Proof of wipe.
Starring Russell Crowe.
Proof of wipe. Is that that could be a Denzel action movie. Hopefully Art didn't hear that more Denzel bashing.
Man.
Okay, we need to get into it. That's all I have to say about that.
Big movie we got to talk about.
X, the man with the X-ray eyes. Roger Corman, 1963. Mel says Russell clogs toilets. God, he probably pounds them in there. Roger Corman, Ray Milland, who you might remember from Dial M for Murder. A few weeks back we talked about. Prado, can you pull us through this movie?
One decision can cause a spiral. One thought can cascade your reality. A motive, false or true, good intentions or not, can define a day, a life, a legacy. James Xavier, a gifted and passionate doctor and scientist, has had a medical breakthrough that will change medicine and the world forever. But those without vision for the precipice that he stands on are hindering the completion of his work. Undaunted and without fear, James presses on, giving his very life to this hope of great healing. Once he begins down this path, there is no going back, and the great purpose that guided him, with each step closer, blurs in his mind. As his breakthrough grows beyond even his own imagination, what was once so clear is now unseen and fades to black, unaccomplished, but seen only by him.
My God, putting the extra effort into this one. Wish I would have seen that movie.
I spent an extra hour in the isolation tank for this one.
Did we watch the same movie?
You must have watched a different X. X, The Man with the X-Ray Eyes. This is a really exciting movie for us to talk about. This week, we saw The Villagers also watch this and log this on Letterboxd. We all follow each other. So in our Discord, we have a channel where it just kind of auto-populates people's reviews as they log them. These were coming in hot and heavy this week, averaging, in terms of ratings, from a 1.5 to a 2.5 all week long. You could feel the sense of dread building as we're leading to this watch. So I didn't even watch it until yesterday, I think, as I was finishing work. I fired this off. Danny, how are you feeling going into this episode? Not knowing a ton about this movie, but then starting to see The Villagers kind of populate those reviews coming in slowly and steady.
It's funny because I didn't watch it until today. I had so much on my plate that I couldn't squeeze in a viewing until day of record. So as I watched the reviews come in, I don't know. I felt like I was probably going to be in the same boat. It was skewing how I watched it, I think, a little bit. I think I was expecting a shit show. It was interesting to see how many actually watched it, reviewed it, and coming into my viewing of it. But yeah, I was excited though because I like Ray a lot.
Ray.
I liked him in Dial M. I thought he was fun. Yeah, he was cool. So I guess I had the bar raised for him because I was expecting more Ray awesomeness.
Perda, how did you feel going into this viewing? 1963, potentially a horror movie here with Ray at the helm.
I've never seen any Roger Corman, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. I was excited that it's an older movie, especially, something that's categorized as horror that's older. So I was excited. I really didn't know what to expect. The cover is awesome. I didn't watch, any kind of hashed together trailer or anything. So I didn't really know what was going to happen. So I felt good. Yeah, I saw the reviews coming in, of course, and that kind of gives you a sense. And then I was a little worried when I remembered that this movie was only 80 minutes long. Because then when I saw that originally, I was like, oh, this is great. Like anybody can watch this. Anybody can find 80 minutes to watch a movie. But then I thought, maybe it's 80 minutes for a reason.
Dale, show producer, gave this a 3.5 banger. So those the hosts of the Bat and Spider podcast are aligned in this story. First of all, I just love having movies just readily available. Prime Video, God, just ready to go. Let's just fire it up. Love it.
It's nice.
Corman's other movies, Little Shop of Horrors, Mask of the Red Death, which I recently watched with Vincent Price. He did a lot of what's that famous writer? This is the Slim Idiot moment of the Poe, Edgar Allan Poe. He did a ton of Edgar Allan Poe movies. The Haunted Place was one that I also wanted to do. The unreleased Fantastic Four movie that I mentioned.
Edgar Allan Bro? He wrote that?
Edgar Allan Bro. That's what it sounded like you just said.
The Fantastic Four movie?
Yeah. Unreleased Edgar Allan work.
Bro.
So I actually was pretty interested because Mask of the Red Death is a very interesting screenplay. Takes place at like this weird ball. I was curious to see how this was going to go. The only other movie I'd seen Ray in was Dial M. And I had like no concept of like years when Dial M came out. Man, he looked 50 years older in this movie than he did in Dial M for Murder. Ray, what is going on, my man?
Granddad.
I mean, yeah. But not only that, but he plays a doctor that can get some tail in this movie. He has this other doctor just fawning over him. And most of this movie, I'm like, gal, come on. You can do a little bit better than this guy. He's also kind of a psychopath.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, to get right into it, there's a lot of this movie that I think could have just been set up differently. Like he should have had like a wife or a lover going into this story. That would have been so much more believable than this woman who hands out the grant money as the love interest, who I'm like, there's no reason this woman should be invested in this guy. He's like totally blows her off at every meeting. And she's still like all over him. It just didn't add up, their relationship.
What about the scene where, skipping ahead, after he gets the X-ray vision, where he looks at her naked at this dance party?
Excuse me?
He has this one line that totally grossed me out, where she's turned to him. Her backside is showing to him. He says,
"Oh, and your backbone is a sheer delight."
And she's like even more turned on at hearing him say this.
That's a very common line between doctors.
Old man Ray Milland saying that to your naked body, I would shrivel up and die instantly.
How about, I mean, we should probably just talk about that scene the whole time.
Let's go for it.
I mean, they're obviously, in this tiny set that's supposed to be like somebody's living room, and they're dancing. The dancing that's going on here, they are tearing it up on this floor. I've never seen anybody dance like this before. And then somebody convinces Ray to get out on the floor. Are you kidding me? What is this dance? It's like the robot, but there's soap on the floor. I've never seen anything like it. His moves were unreal.
Everyone was like doing the twist at this party, but not just like doing the twist. They're getting down. Like they're doing full on squats. Their cheeks are touching the floor at this party, which is also probably even more disturbing is because his X-ray vision kicks on and he's like, oh, I can see people naked. I just realized. Like that's not the first thing you realize, Ray Milland. But it's like kicking on. He's looking at all these people like dancing. So the camera frame changes. It just shows them from like the neck up or the ankles down and they're naked and they're doing the twist. Like he's seeing everything. Like I'm talking about Dirty A's from Friday the 13th. The new begin. Like he can see everything. I would probably be so disturbed by being at that party.
He's a wipe sayer. He knows who's
Denzel's about to walk in. I think we just nailed the plot for that movie.
Oh my gosh.
So this movie, to back up a little bit, Ray is this like doctor who has a vision for, seeing beyond what humans can see. He's like pissed that he can see, I think, what did he say? There's like 1 percentile or 10 percentile that I can't see. And he's like, I can't have that. So that's like his drive. He wants to see gamma rays. He wants to see the Meson wind and radiation. So he has like this scheme that these eye drops that he's building that can make him see everything. So that's how this movie starts off, and that's how you meet the gal. She's given the grant money. So he has this doctor friend that is like, he's like nice guy. He's like normal, smart doctor. He's like, you need to continue testing these drops. And Ray wants to do it himself. He's like, I want to be the subject. And the doctor's like, he's like, there's no way we're doing this, Ray. And then Ray's like, but I need you. Oh, okay. All right, let's go do it. So he's going to test the eye drops on himself for the first human trials. And that's where you get to see him, see the radiation, the ultraviolets. How did you view the special effects, Danny, of like that first him seeing with X-ray eyes, 1963?
I was confused on how it was working because it looked like a kaleidoscope, but I didn't know how he was seeing things. But I actually liked it. I thought it looked pretty good. It was visually cool.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the visual, like those effects were pretty neat. I thought it was cool when he goes and visits the patient girl who's about to have her operation the next day. And it just like, he sees into her skin and can see her organs and he sees her heart and then recognizes that the doctor had diagnosed it wrong and she'll die if they go through with the surgery in the way that he was planning. Like, I thought those effects were cool where it would just like go one layer down.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty impressive. And I read that they only had $300,000 and they filmed this in 3 weeks. So you can probably see why this was the movie it was, but also it was impressive effects for only having 3 weeks to make this movie.
One could say it probably had better special effects than Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which came out.
One could say that,
later.
But we're going to move on.
We'll move on. We won't dwell on that. The one thing I couldn't get past in my nerdy brain was how are his eyelids protecting his X-ray vision? He should just be able to see through his eyelids and just be using the vision at all times, right? Am I crazy in saying that?
Yeah, you're correct in saying that. But he says it at the end too, when he starts losing his mind. So he can't stop it anymore. He's seeing through his eyelids, etc. So I think maybe there is a level of he's not fully, like he has to keep using the drops, so it's not fully affecting him in the beginning as much. And he says it at the end. He's starting to see through his eyelids and starts losing his mind.
I don't buy that line, but I accept that it happened in the movie. I accept that happened.
It's in the text.
Let's see. There's a part later that happens where he sees that woman the young girl that you mentioned, who's about to have surgery, and he tells the doc, he like x-rays her body and says that his plan for surgery is actually wrong. Like, you're going to be going in the wrong place. You're going to kill her. And the doctor's like, F you, bro. Whatever you're saying, you're kooky. And he eventually interrupts the surgery, cuts the surgeon to prevent him from doing the surgery, and saves the girl's life. And the doctor was like, yeah, you probably saved her life, but you deserve to be in prison right now for what you just did. So good luck. He starts to get like, he's a hard character to like relate to and feel for, because he does all these crazy things, not for like the greater good. I don't know. What did you think about his character arc through this so far?
I thought he always seemed to be doing it for the greater good. I just think because he never wanted fame. I think he says that as well. And he was just trying to I don't know. It just seemed like he tried at least to not use it for what I would use it for. And that would be, robbing banks and all that kind of stuff. I would definitely be a bank robber.
I think he makes a lot of silly choices in this. Like every time he's set up to succeed, he kind of throws it out the window. Literally throws his friend out the window at one point,
crazy.
Which is a great scene. I love the line where they somehow they get tangled together, and this guy jumps out a window, and then the woman there, I forget her name, but she says, "You killed him," and James looks away and he says, "Yes,
he was my friend."
The one scene Dave in Discord brought up was, how is that doctor just chilling to watch after being cut? What was funny about the surgery too is his hand gets cut and he just kind of stands there, presumably for how long did the surgery take? Like 9 hours. And towards the end, the doctor's like, by now, word has gotten out to the news and the police. You're finished.
Right.
What news wire is hanging out in this surgery and like the news beat there? I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. There was a few moments like that were just kind of silly. There's another one jumping ahead to when he's with Rickles, Don Rickles' character, and they set up like this office for him to be like a healer at, and they're like, how are we going to spread the word? And he's like, we won't have to do anything. It'll just get out. So their first customer that comes for him to look at is this woman. This older woman has something wrong. She goes to see him. James looks at her and says, "There's nothing wrong with you." And then after that, the next scene, their office is full of people, as if this woman went out sharing like, this guy, he's a miracle worker, when he didn't actually do anything for her.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch that?
His line I wrote down, because she asked for a diagnosis. I wrote specifically that he's like, "There's nothing wrong with you. Old age. Nothing to worry about. You'll be fine." And then she leaves. She's like, "Oh my God, thank you." But yeah, Don Rickles, I didn't even know he was in this movie.
Yeah.
I think Corey said he was 37. So after he kicks his friend out of the window, somehow using super strength, X-ray super strength, he goes on the run and joins the circus as his secondary job.
Yes.
That, there was no other job for you to do outside of the circus. He must be making peanuts working at the circus as Mentallo. So that's where you get Don Rickles. Don Rickles is like his hand. He brings people to see this show where he can read minds. He reads these pieces of paper that people write, and that's like his scheme. But Don Rickles' entrance to this movie is he's just doing Don Rickles bits, which I loved. I love Don Rickles' Casino, obviously. His outfit as Mentallo, I could see Proto easily owning the robe.
Is it?
Everything.
Is it in the VH Village budget to send the outfit to Proto?
Can we get that in the shop in vhsvillage.com?
Hey, I'll wear it. Those scorpions? I am a Scorpio, God.
But I wrote down that Rickles came off like an eye pimp of like Ray in this movie. It was very strange. What did you think of the circus stuff, Danny?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I think it's silly, but I loved that he did it, and I loved his outfit. I loved the guys heckling him like it's some parlor trick, like he's faking it, and I don't know. It was just funny. I mean, it's a funny setup. I don't know. I think that's when I started just being like, well, anything can happen in this movie now.
Yeah. Mike is asking, how did he know that guy's social security number? I didn't understand what was happening there. So this one guy who said it was
it's in his wallet. You don't carry yours with you?
But he also like said that he had a watch that was like a gift from his father or something. It was almost like he was using.
It's engraved on the other side of the watch. Do you not?
But like, what is?
Can we wake up?
In chat, someone asked Mel, does he have Zoom as well? Is he zooming into the vision?
Yes, he does. Yes, it's in the text.
It's a package
I'm just saying,
deal.
that was like 50 feet away, and he's reading the engraving on the watch and the letter in his wallet. Get out of here, Corman.
Yes.
I don't buy it.
X-rays zooms.
Danny's getting too confident. We need to move on from this segment of the show. I don't like it.
I like when it got to this point too, because to me, the first part of this movie felt almost like it was in the 50s, the way it was shot and the way it looked. And then when it gets to the circus, I was like, okay, this is good to be moving out of this hospital into getting to like the next area. And the fact that they're moving the story in this direction, it felt really good to be doing that. I really like that development. Although, yeah, it is questionable. Like if James sat down for more than 5 seconds to think of what his next career move should be, maybe he should have thought of Vegas first.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that should have been day one. Let's go get rich to continue this treatment.
Although
the Vegas part was the most disappointing part, I think.
That was filmed in someone's garage. That was like probably the most.
That wasn't
depressing.
circus.
No.
I do kind of like the progression of the character in the story in that way, because it starts with him like wanting to do this to heal people. And then he goes to the circus and he's seeking to continue to kind of like amaze people, and maybe more, he's just in hiding. And then his next scheme is to be a healer where he can just help people, but also make money. But then finally, when he just goes to Vegas, his plan is it's just selfish entirely. And it's just like, I'm just going to make money using this. So I liked how over the course of the movie, his like goals and aspirations kind of devolved to being more selfish as the movie went on. So I thought that kind of worked, like in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, at this point, he helps someone who hurt their leg and diagnoses it in front of Rickles. And Rickles sees dollar signs. That's when he calls him a healer. He like sets him up with this dingy office to help old women diagnose their calamities. And that's when the gal, I'm forgetting her name, Deanna, I think is the actress's name. Diane maybe is the character name. She comes to see him as a healer, and she's like, why did you leave? And he starts freaking out. His powers are kind of getting a little bit out of control because he's still dosing at that point. Mm-hmm. If he stopped dosing, would the power just go away? Or
correct?
I'm just wondering why he didn't do that. Why not just stop? Because he's
stop?
freaking out about it, like just getting so out of control.
He's addicted to it.
It's a drug. So at this point, she agrees to help him. She's like, yes, I'll still help you, whatever it takes. I guess she remembered that compliment about her spine. And she drives him to Vegas to make money to continue the treatments and the research. And that's when you start to be like, yeah, okay, this makes sense. And he starts winning and winning. He's wearing these like huge old person sunglasses, that cover like half his entire face. And that's when the people that work at this casino are like, something fishy is happening here. And as they kind of rush him to talk to him, his glasses come off. And that's when you see the first, like this big shot of him with these crazy eyes, these X-ray eyes. He's wearing these like colored contact lenses that in 1963, the whole thing I could thought about, like, man, those things look so painful. He was probably in so much pain wearing those things. I thought it looked great, to be honest, though.
It's funny because I was really wanting his eye. Like, you could see things in his eyes start changing. A couple shots, there's something down in the whites of his pupils. I don't know what it was. It was like those, like his eyes were forming. But when he loses those black, whatever glasses you want to call those, and you see that those gold irises or pupils, whichever it is, I was like, yes, this is what I wanted. Like, first of all, I'm waiting for this to be at all a horror movie at some point. We can get into that later if this is an actual horror movie. But his eyes were like, yes, this is perfect. I loved every second of that.
Yeah, those were great, but man, those glasses were awful. he looked like he was 95 being pedaled around to these, blackjack tables. Just like, what is going on here? And at that point I was thinking like, man, maybe they should have got somebody younger, because I don't know, Ray. I just don't know.
Yeah.
He's old. He's super old in this. I mean, I'm glad he aged gracefully, but he's just really old. This is like Jimmy Stewart in what was the movie we're talking about where he was a little bit too old? Vertigo. Like that kind of popped up a little bit here. And at this point, he steals the car. His glasses are off, so he's just seeing through everything constantly, and he's freaking out. And he gets in a car and starts driving around. I started like feeling a little bit sick during this scene. The car driving around, the ultraviolet shots, and everything. He gets in a car accident, and there's a helicopter chasing him. Mike just posted a photo of that. And he gets in a wreck, which I thought was hilarious, which makes sense because of the short time frame and the low budget of this movie. But like, he crashes, and the shot of the car crashing is literally just like a frame on screen of glass breaking and for a second, and then it changes, and that's the car crash scene.
Yeah,
I love the helicopter getting close enough to megaphone him and tell him he's not getting away, and then he flips his car, and the helicopter's nowhere to be found, and he's able to walk miles to a religious service.
Well, that's another thing. The scene plays on that idea that like, why is a helicopter chasing this guy? He just won money at a casino. He didn't do anything wrong. Right. Yeah. He leaves, and there's like a manhunt going on all of a sudden for this guy.
He eventually stumbles upon a church service. And the first time I saw this pastor, I was like, this guy looks like Dolph Lundgren's father. I thought it was Dolph Lundgren as the pastor in this service. Also, he sounds like the worst pastor ever. Whoever wrote this scene, it sounds like it just sounded so cliched. Like this, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is
welcome to the Southern Baptists.
It sounded so
Let
trash.
me tell you about these revivals.
I mean, at least put some spice into it. Like this guy was like saying nothing. It was just nothing burger. Like he could have. It was like a machine learning wrote. What did a pastor say?
Yep. He's got to do this for 8 hours, man. There's got to be some nothing burgers in there.
He was the Corman version of Billy Graham.
And he stumbles in here. He looks sickly. He's walking into the service, and everyone's like ignoring him at this point. I was surprised no one's like asking him, "Are you okay? Do you need help? Are you dying?" Because his eyes are bleeding. And at this point, he walks up and kind of gives this pretty cool speech about what he sees.
There are great darknesses, farther than time itself. And beyond the darkness, a light that glows and changes. And in the center of the universe, the eye that sees us all.
And the pastor then quotes a passage from the Bible about the need to pluck out sin. That gives Ray an idea to pluck his own eyes out at the end of this movie. The congregation at this point is like feeding him on. They're chanting to pluck it out. It's sick. But I guess that happens in the South. And then he pulls them out, and the last shot of the movie is like him with these like black areas where his eyes would be. And that's the quick ending of the movie right there.
You know how many eyeballs are left on the floor after the preacher reads Matthew 18:9?
Oh,
they're wild down here in the South.
It's gross. How did you feel after that scene, Frodo?
That was pretty horrific. I thought it was a great ending. You know, I'm looking at the time. It's like there's 5 minutes left in this movie. You know, how are they going to wrap this up? But I thought it was cool. Yeah, what he said about he can see through everything, and that he's seeing I think he said to like the center of the universe, and there is like I can't remember if he said like there's an eye or watching us or some kind of reference to like God being there. I thought that was a cool idea that, he's done this drug enough through now that he can see through the entire universe to its center. That was a cool idea. I really like that.
I was reading a little bit about the ending of this as well, and an article came up where Stephen King was talking about this movie. I think it was on some list of his about horror movies and stuff that he had liked, and he had said that the end of this movie, there was supposed to be a line after he pulls his eyes out, after the pluck it lines, that he would say, "I can still see, even without the eyes." So, and so it's funny because continuing that, Corman responded to Stephen King saying that it wasn't true. But then he said, "How did Stephen King write a better ending to my movie?"
The master of horror himself.
Yeah, that would have been great if he screamed that. Jeez.
Yeah. Mel corrected me. There were blood red spots behind the eyes. The King cut.
King cut.
That is the man with the X-ray eyes. Chuck also wrote in his review that he theorized that did Stan Lee come up with the idea for the X-Men because this came out the same year as the X-Men in 1963. And I looked on Wikipedia. They both came out the same month too, believe it or not. So very suspicious connections there with the usage of X. I mean, I don't know how many people were called Xavier in 1963, let alone ones that had like crazy eye powers. So very strange coincidence there.
Just chalking this up to Stan Lee not having another original thought.
Oh my God. There is some deep-seated emotions with Danny and Stan Lee. Maybe we can get to that in a future episode. Maybe during the Fantastic Four 1994 episode. Proto, this was your pick. How did you feel? What's your overall vibes and any other scenes that we maybe have missed that you wanted to talk about?
I think I was disappointed in this movie. With its runtime, yeah, you can make a good movie in 80 minutes. Like, there's nothing wrong with being able to do that. But it did kind of feel like this was like an extended Twilight Zone episode to me. And I think that I was trying to put my finger on like what was wrong with this. And I think the thing that stands out to me is that the stakes were so low in this movie. There was never any serious goal to me that he was like seeking after. Yes, like he wanted to see more, but there needed to be some kind of like opposing force to that other than him kind of wandering around and not having any purpose. And I also thought, like, I was curious how they would focus on like the ability, and like the effects were cool. But to me, I think this would have been a better movie. If I may rewrite the movie right now.
Please do.
Yeah. I think it would have been cool if there was some kind of other character that was involved in this who had equal weight as him. Like almost as if this movie started when he was at the circus with this power. And then either his like estranged lover comes back, or he has like a son or a daughter who's trying to engage in a relationship. And then you use like this ability to play against like some kind of family element. They're just like, there was no general direction as to what this movie was about or what I should be invested in as I was watching it. So
what if he had a doctor adversary by the name of Eric Magnus who allowed himself to control magnetism?
That would have been good.
Has it ever been done?
Never been done.
Yeah. So overall, I was disappointed. I think there's some elements to it. Like when I was looking at the grander scheme of it, I think there's some really cool stuff that's in this, but just in terms of like, using, what did I call that? The proto something or other, how I would rate a movie. But if I was if I asked myself if I should watch this, I would say the proto lens. I would give this a 2-star and not recommend myself to watch this.
Wow. When was the last time we heard a proto 2-banger on this show? I can't remember the last time. I'm not sure if it's happened. Danny, you sound more positive. Let's change gears to see how
Interesting.
how you
Did I?
net. What's your view on this picture?
I think there is a great story here. I think it was very poorly told. It's not enough sci-fi, or it wasn't enough horror. Like, it didn't know what it wanted to be. It needed to pick a lane and not kind of be both. I don't know. It's not good. I think the only thing I really liked was when the score kicked in, and it was that woman's voice, kind of eerie over the tones. Like, I really enjoyed that. I'm giving it 1 star for the costume and the circus. And that's about it. I didn't enjoy this, really.
Oh my God.
Never
I just got bamboozled.
done.
I keep trying to tell myself, can I give it at least 2 stars? And I can't.
Wow.
I just not feeling it.
The Danny Garbanzo list. I can't believe it.
We finally have one movie.
The origin.
Wow.
Hope Stan wasn't listening.
I did not see that coming. My overall vibes were this wasn't very good. I didn't like Ray. I thought he's a good actor, but I don't know, not in this movie. I didn't care about him. I kind of was grossed out by his dance moves, his viewing of nude people and complimenting them on their backs. And I just didn't care. I thought he was a dope for going to work at the circus. He got schooled by Don Rickles, his eye pimp. This is a 2-banger from me. Glad to have watched it. The experience, enjoyable. Movie, not good. That's my overall vibes. Mel in Discord says someone's phoning in the artwork this week.
It's already in there. It's already in the channel.
It's already
done.
I
phoned it.
I liked it a lot. Actually, I liked the art way more than I liked the movie. But we do have a voicemail. I think that maybe we'll give a different perspective on this movie that I do want to get into.
Will I change my stars from this voicemail?
Oh, we'll see. If you wanted to leave us a voicemail, shoot us an email, 70mmpod@gmail.com. Leave us an audio file there, or 267-409-6983. Here, let's listen to this one real quick.
Hey guys, Chuck here from Burton Speedboat. I'm waving to Dale behind the glass. Hey Dale, what's up, man? So, you guys like this movie. Give me a break. You can't tell me that you knew where this was going. You didn't know we were going to end up with Ray Milland on the Santa Monica Pier doing a sideshow thing with an awesome bandana with an eye painted on it over his eyes, reading people's information in their wallets. Let alone Dick Miller from Gremlins and Gremlins 2. And you can say that you knew this movie was going to end up in an amazing, like, Richard Kimball, Doctor on the Run climax of him trying to drive a car with black eyes through the desert, and ends up at a revival where he gouges his own eyes out. Roll credits. You can't tell me you didn't have fun. I certainly can't say that. All right, peace. I love you, Mel.
Man.
Oh my God, that was a great part of the voicemail. That was Chuck Forsman,
Oh, man.
Bat and Spider podcast. I had a feeling that Chuck would love this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I came pretty close. The music is so good. It feels like an old Batman episode where he's fighting some campy villain. Any rebuttal to that, Danny, with your 1 star? Has it changed since
No,
that?
it's not. It's not changing. I'm sorry, Chuck.
Wow. Unmoved by Chuck's
I am
VM.
sorry.
It's okay.
I might give it a 0.5 star up for his love to Mel.
We can round that up, Chuck. It's
Completely
2 stars.
unrelated to the movie. We got a voicemail. Last voicemail of the week. Here we go.
70 Pod. Hey, this is Corey from Austin, Texas. First time listener, first time caller. Let me take you back to April where you shat upon Dune.
Oh, no.
Made in 1984. I discovered your pod through some other pods. One being Bat and Spider, the other being
Oh, baby.
Dune Pod. H recommended I listen to your show. Good, even though we were disagreeing intensely about Dune. I'll call again after I listen to another episode. Fully decide if I want to stick with this podcast that seems to be beloved and maybe hated by none, except for maybe one. Good day. Good day.
H trying to get back in our good graces by recommending the podcast to new friends of the show, Corey.
I mean, he said his name was Corey, but are we sure that wasn't H?
Have you ever seen him in the same
H
place?
in disguise. Oh my God. That's a theory I hadn't considered, but man, I had a lot of fun doing that Dune episode.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of poop theories in that one too.
Oh my, oh yeah.
Are we starting a poop list?
Puke list.
Oh gosh. Will that movie come out this calendar year? We'll see. Thanks for the VM. Corey, a new addition to our Discord this week and our Patreon. So we appreciate the support. You can sign up for our Patreon. There's a link in our episode notes for early episodes. Physical membership cards just went out. I got mine. Danny sent me
Oh,
two.
baby.
This is safe space. Danny sent me two. One for my wife, one for me. The jury's still out if Amanda's going to accept the card or if I'm going to give that to my son. We'll see. So you can do that, listen to early episodes, and then join our Discord. So thank you for the support. We have some IG answers to get to from our fave horror / scary movies of all time. Have we ever asked that question on this show? Pardo, have you ever revealed what your favorite scary movie is?
I don't think so, but I'm just going to go with what I'm feeling right now. What's hot?
baby.
I'm going to say Alien.
Oh yeah. Good choice.
Oh,
It's a great choice.
wow.
It's got to be.
Danny?
Man, I guess I would probably go with The Thing. I really loved The Thing. But I don't know. Kind of fallen in love with more modern stuff these days. I loved Hereditary. I really loved. I don't think Midsommar was as horror-y, but I really loved that. Conjuring, Babadook. There's a few that I could probably put up there. But I think when I look back, it's going to be The Thing.
It's so good.
Aliens tough too, because Aliens is so perfect.
The Thing is probably my other one.
His hair
His hair.
alone
Yeah.
The
in
ending.
that movie.
The ending.
Yeah.
Oh,
The ending
my
is,
God.
kiss me. Kiss me.
Kiss right now, both of you.
Kiss me on
We
the
will.
eyes.
Yes.
Some of the responses we got, Crow says Rosemary's Baby. God, remember the fun we had on that episode?
Oh, God, what a movie.
Holy
The
cow.
music in that. Oh, I can hear it now.
Make love to me. Catcher says The Blair Witch Project. God, I'd love to rewatch that for the show. At some point.
Hometown Heroes here in Orlando.
Can
Really?
you imagine if I would have picked that instead?
Yeah.
Fudge.
The directors went to UCF. We have like a anniversary viewing parties here every year for them.
Remember when that movie came out and they did
It
that
was
like
the-
MTV
yeah.
mini doc ahead of the movie? Holy moly.
Mhm.
Gosh, that was amazing.
Golden Knights, that's us.
How does Grugrux Dave know that? What is going on here? Did he go to
I don't know.
UCF?
He's in Portland. I don't know.
Jolly Green Paul from our Discord says The Frighteners. Matt HH says The Lighthouse.
I've never seen The Frighteners.
Mm.
Is Lighthouse horror? I guess so.
Chuck Forsman says The Love Guru, which I just want to say Austin Powers
Excuse
has
me?
been added to HBO Max. I might be watching that very soon. Lex says The Thing, Not Cool PDX, Suspiria. Let's see. A Quiet Place or The Conjuring. That's from Will Ladner, Villager in the Discord. I love The Conjuring. I actually just said to Amanda that she's October has officially happened as we record, so kind of putting a list together of our favorite horror movies to watch, and The Conjuring is definitely one of them.
Didn't they announce the third Conjuring?
I believe so.
Just recently, I think, a couple days ago.
Andy, friend of the show, Villager, says It 2017. Andy, very curious choice there. Very curious. Friend Mike D says Blair Witch. Sean, The Conjuring.
Blair Witch. Man, are we doing that?
I've never seen it. I don't know if I could watch it. I don't know if I could ever watch it.
We are frozen in excitement right now at the mere idea.
I think last year we
watch
did the 20th anniversary.
The 21st anniversary.
Brad says, since I was a child, it will always be Silver Bullet.
Never heard of it.
Wow. Holy moly. Rob Redder says The Witch, 2 V's.
The Witch.
And The Shining. Christy Zen says Get Out. A lot of more votes for The Thing. Mel is in there. T. Stover says The New Invisible Man recently. Love the original Blob and Night of the Living Dead.
Someone said earlier, Marriage Story as a joke, but I kind of like an idea of doing a list of movies that aren't intended to be horror that are. Because it's funny to put Marriage Story, but the one I would totally put is Beautiful Boy. If you've seen that,
oh my gosh,
that is a horror movie for every parent. And then, I think Requiem for a Dream is another horror movie.
Oh my God, dude.
The ending of that movie.
Right?
Wow. Incognito mode. The first half of Hereditary, like you were kind of sort of serious about Marriage Story being like a horror. The first half of Hereditary is horrifying, but in like a non-horror movie way.
Yeah.
Like they could have been, if the whole movie was like that, I still would have given that 5 stars because it was so heavy and disturbing.
To me, that movie was the feeling of dread. I felt dread watching the first half of that.
Yeah. Halloween. No one replied with Halloween, Chuck.
Sad.
It's upsetting to us. We've talked about it internally. How no one has said Halloween. We'll
We
see.
feel that.
Next week is our Scream episode. I'm so pumped to do
baby.
it. I do believe that is streaming on, let's see where that's streaming.
It's not. It's on Amazon. You have to rent it.
It was just somewhere.
It's on Tubi.
Was it?
Yeah, it's on Tubi.
Oh, Tubi.
Tubi, you can watch that for
Show
free.
sponsor of Bat and Spider.
Tell you what, I just put that Tubi app on my brand new Chromecast with Google TV. $49. Well worth it. Get all your services up there. Stream it ASAP. So watch that on Tubi ahead of next week with us. Wes Craven, the master of horror himself. What an episode. Proto, do you have any closing thoughts as we continue our alien journey and move into Scream next week?
Unlike James Xavier, we cannot see through the skin of ourselves or others. We cannot see through the clothes either. But I do believe that in this village, we can see into one another's hearts. And we do that through our movie reviews, our star ratings, and just the friendship we share week to week. So everyone who's here and listening, thank you for sharing your heart with us.
I feel like I'm at a revival right now.
And your $4.
My pastor, Part Alexis. $70mm is a VHS Village production and produced by Dale_A, sponsored by Half Double Design. Original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance provided by Protolexis. This episode was mixed and edited by me, Slim. You can support our Patreon for early access to episodes, discounts on prints, a physical membership card mailed to you, and receive an invite to our Discord to talk movies with other villagers. Special thanks to the good people at Letterboxd, and for a chance to win a pro Letterboxd account, share the show and tag us on social media at 70MMPod. Goodbye.